Within the last 2 weeks, new clues have emerged in the case against Saddam. The possibility that as recently as last year, he was training terrorists in Iraq. Captain Sabah Khodada is a former army officer who defected from Iraq. He made a crude drawing of what he says is a terrorist training camp on the outskirts of Baghdad, known as Salman Park.
Training includes hijacking and kidnapping of airplanes, trains, public buses, implanting explosives in cities, sabotaging houses, assassinations. Training also included how to prepare for suicidal operations.
This was the Special Operations Camp. What kind of training was going on, you say, of non-Iraqis?
Arabs, non-Iraqis, were trained separately from us. There were strict orders not to meet with them and not to talk to them.
Were they religious?
They sound very Muslims. I know that because one time I salute them, the Assalamu alaikum, and they responded with Assalamu alaikum. Those Arabs are real volunteers. They come in small numbers and they come with the intention to do some real suicidal operations.
And just this week, another defector also telling the story about training terrorists in Iraq. This man, a lieutenant general still in the Middle East and fearful for his life, served Saddam for decades. He spoke exclusively to Frontline and New York Times reporter Chris Hedges.
Does he believe that the people being trained at Salman Park were Islamic militants, or were they just secular Arabs?
For sure they were Islamic militants because they were all very strict in their daily prayers.
And what did they look like?
They looked quite scruffy. They were certainly not of a military caliber.
The defectors tell of training terrorists in a Boeing 707, resting next to railroad tracks on the edge of Salman Park.
I am lucky that I know the area, this Salman Park. This is a very beautiful area, with gardens, with trees, with the river is there, very, very nice place. It is not possible to do such a program there because there is no place for planes, for airplanes there.
The existence of the plane has been confirmed by United Nations inspectors. The general says he saw 2 groups of special trainees. The first came in 1995. The second came last year.
How large were these units?
I don't recall the exact number in 95, but during 2000, they were definitely under 40.
What did they do over those 5 months besides practice on the plane?
And the only time I saw them was when they are near the plane.
Do you think that any of the activities that you saw at Salman Park are tied in any way to the terrorist attacks on September 11th in New York and Washington?
That was my immediate gut feeling, and my feeling is there is a connection.
And why did you feel there was a connection?
Because the fact that we had those Arabs in 95 and in 2000 in such a closed and top secret location, and the fact of the nature of the work carried out by the Special Operations Unit.
And they trained people on how to take over the plane, what, using weapons or how?
وجود إمكانية لإدخال أسلحة إلى الطائرة يدخلون أسلحة.
I saw them getting trained on this kind of situations where security will not allow you to get weapons into the plane. Then what you need to do is to use all available methods and very advanced terrorizing method. These methods are used to terrorize the passengers and the crew of the plane. They are even trained how to use utensils for food, like forks and knives provided in the plane.